EGM Network.
From Studio A in sunny Florida, welcome to Beauty and the Beach Radio, where it's all about who's beautifying Vero Beach. Today's show is brought to you by Dale Sorensen Real Estate. And here's your host and glamour girl, makeup artist, Cindy Goetz.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio. I'm Cindy Goetz, your host, and I have a question for you, okay? If you are over, 40, okay, can you relate to this, all right? So I used to say that I would run so that I could eat burgers and fries, okay? Now I run so I can eat a piece of lettuce so that I cannot gain any more weight. Can any of you relate? It is so frustrating. You raise your hand. I don't care if you're in the car. I don't care if you're in the office. Holla. I mean, it is so frustrating, you guys. So I am on your page. If you're feeling like, holy moly, I'm working out. I feel like I'm not losing weight. I'm actually gaining weight. And so I wanted to address that today. And I have one of my favorite friends on the show. She's an expert at fitness. And I said to her, I said, please help us. Like, this is so frustrating. When you're used to, being fit, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what I did before doesn't work. And so we need to change it up. So if you're 20, don't tune me out, because maybe you know somebody, maybe it's your mom or your dad or your brother or a cousin that could use this advice. So we are going to give you 5 ways. Are you ready to be fit and it? All right. If you're over 40. So fit and it. That is it, guys. So staying in shape over 40 becomes more challenging, primarily due to the natural age-related decline in muscle mass, okay, which leads to a slower, it's the M word, metabolism, decreases strength, and a great chance of injuries. So all while, ladies, hormonal changes and other busier lifestyles further complicate, right, maintaining fitness levels. So we're going to cover the mind and the body, because I think it is both, okay? So you've got to tackle both in order to be it for 2025. So my guest today, she is no stranger to Beauty and the Beach Radio. She and her husband, they are musicians and singers in the Riptide Band. By the way, if you ever get to see them, you have to go. They will have you on your feet dancing, and what a great way to stay in shape. That's a fun way to stay in shape. They are dog parents. They are driven by their strong sense of faith. They are co-owners of a local fitness center, which is called LIFT Vero. And by the way, LIFT Fitness is the only gym with certified joint strong trainers who are trained in joint health, which often is the root of many common aches and pains. Yes, unfortunately, we are talking about some aches and pains because we are not 20 anymore. So please welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio, Bonnie Pfiester.
Thank you.
So Bonnie, we're not going to reveal our age, but we're kind of twinsing. And so I think we're kind of in the same, bracket. Do you feel my pain? Do you ever go, gosh, what I did, at 20 is so different now.
Shoot, what I did at 40, 45.
Like it's, oh my gosh. And when you and Steve were here just last week and we, had our show, I was talking to your husband, I'm like, we need to cover this because, working out and staying in shape over 40 takes a way heck of a lot more discipline mentally and physically. So I want to dive right in. So first of all, what are the most common, I've kind of already shared a few, but what are the most common complaints or obstacles that you hear from that 40 plus crowd? What are the complaints you hear?
The 40 plus group of people are really kind of our focal group. If we had a demographic that we had to hone in on, it's definitely 40 plus for our gym. And so it's very common for people to have, problems with just stubborn weight. They feel very defeated, like their metabolism and their aging is kind of going against them. A lot of it's misconceptions, which we'll address. Joint health is a big issue. Knee problems, back pain, neck pain, a host of aches and pains that are most of the time preventable. But that setback can keep them from being active, and therefore they feel like they're gaining more weight or not able to get the weight off that they want to.
Sure.
So I would say, aches and pains and energy levels and that stubborn weight gain is kind of an overall focus of what we're trying to do to educate and train our clients to be able to conquer. And a lot of that starts with knowledge.
Sure, which we hope will give you some of that today. So, what are some of the misbeliefs of why we can't lose weight? What are some of the misbeliefs on that, Bonnie?
I think number one is, my metabolism is dead.
Okay,
I'm 50 plus years old and my mom did that. She was like, I don't have a metabolism. It died. It's not just slow.
Which I feel that way. I'm like, I swear I have no pulse on the metabolism. It's flatlined, but go ahead.
Yeah, and they were just showing Dave with his incredible weight loss at his age. It's just a lot of people feel like it's too late that and like my father, who is a great example of someone who just accepted I'm aging. This is part of aging.
Okay,
I have back pain, and that's not my dad, but it's an example. Actually, that's like one of the oldest member in our gym who is a regular 4 times a week. He's I think 96.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, George. He's been around before we were around at the gym. But there's not one, it's not too late. But I think some people accept these things as a part of aging and life when it's not really supposed to be. So for my dad, he had shoulder issues, he had back pain. And he did not think he would ever be able to really lift weights again. He was even scared of like just normal stuff. Like he was downsizing the speaker system that he used to use because he didn't think he could lift anymore.
Wow.
Now he has 25 pounds more muscle than he had when he was 55, when he was like preparing to be elderly. I I look back and I'm thinking, basically you're my age pretending to like be old. And I'm like that, but he just thought that was just part of it. He didn't realize he could fight it and turn it around so much.
And I wanted to make sure we did cover that, Bonnie, because there is this mindset. And I feel like you've got to conquer that as well. It's not just going into the gym and lifting, starting with 5 pounds, 10 pounds, that kind of thing. But I feel like whether you're a mom that just had a baby and you're like, okay, well, I just had a baby, which is fine. And I get that. It's just maybe 10 years down the road, you still have the baby fat, or, okay, I'm 80 now and this is what 80-year-olds do. And I feel like we put ourselves in a box, like this is the way we're supposed to be. And like you said with your mom and your dad, like, okay, well, this is life. We just can't do as much. And I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
And I was telling your husband, one of my biggest, I love Christy Brinkley. She is in her 70s and she's defying what you think of that age. She still looks absolutely amazing, rocks out a bikini, beautiful inside and out. But I know she works hard at it.
Sure.
But she's defying what you kind of think of as that bracket in that box.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about when we were younger and we were moving more, and Steve and I had this great conversation. I wish he could be here today, and he's working like a slave. But one of the things that we were talking about is when we were younger, our insecurities drove us to to be fit and trim and available. When we're looking for our mate and stuff, and that. And then we get older and we start having securities in other things like our value at work or being a mom or, things shift. And all of a sudden we find ourselves out of the loop of that energy level and the things that all the benefits that we had from that extra work we miss out on. And then we blame the result of not doing something as the problem, like the cause. Like, in other words, I don't have any energy and I'm tired and I'm weak. And it's like, because you're not doing those things that you used to do. But so we, as an older generation, and I say that so loosely, but as we get older, we have to kind of really redefine, okay, no, all right, I may not be super insecure. My husband loves me fat or thin. But I have to do these things so that I can get still the same benefits that I got back when I was doing it for the wrong reasons.
So let me recap this before we get into those 5 ways to be fit in it. So this is what I'm hearing from you, Bonnie. The common misbeliefs. 1, we're unmotivated. We're spoiled. We're lazy. We're unmotivated for whatever that.
Me included, by the way.
Yes.
I've been there too. I struggle with it every single day.
It's been cold cold out. I'm like, I really need to go for a walk. I'm like, no, it's too cold. It's a freaking 50 degrees out. I'm such a baby. So we're unmotivated. Our priorities have shifted. We've gone from, like you said, to wanting to, to impress that guy or girl, and we're fit and trim, to all of a sudden we're doing these, it's more important to go out and be social and do these parties. And of course, that adds a whole different,
or valuable, really important stuff. We treat them as optional things when really they shouldn't be optional. That's just something that we need to do to take care of ourselves.
Sure. And we're desensitized. We are like, okay, this is the way it is. Okay. I don't have any more metabolism. This is what an 80-year-old, this is what a 50, this is what a 40-year-old is supposed to be. And so, okay, so those are misbeliefs. Let's dive in. Let's talk, Bonnie, about 5 ways to be fit in it over 40. And the first one you talk about is full range of motion. Talk to us about that.
Okay. So I have a great example. There's a woman, she's probably in her 70s, that just recently joined a gym, and she couldn't get off the floor. And we have a program called LIFT Light for those type of people that need training in a group setting. And it was a big deal for her to even work out without losing her balance. I mean, there was a lot of strength issues she was struggling with. And, if you think about it, in our lifestyle, we sit on a couch.
Sure.
We sit on the toilet. We sit on, we do. We most of us aren't in that position where we sit any lower than that.
Yes.
And we don't get on the floor that often like we did when we were kids and stuff like that. So our overall range of motion starts to decrease, and we don't strengthen those areas. And so purposely going through full ranges of motion from floor to standing. We did an exercise where we made everybody lay out on the floor and say, all right, let's pretend like your leg is broken, your right leg is broken, and your left arm is injured. How will you be able to get yourself up to train people how to get up when they're weakened? And it just was a reality check. I mean, even my younger people were like, oh, and how important it is to strengthen these ranges of motion we don't find ourselves in, like on the floor and rolling over and do different things.
So I have a funny, along with what you're saying is, I was with a group of friends that we ran together, and one of the girls was like, oh yeah, I used to sit Indian style, and then I would use my feet to pop myself up.
Yeah.
So I was like, she's like, I tried to do it the other day and I couldn't. So I got on the floor, and I got to tell you, I hadn't done it in a long time, and it was challenging.
Yeah.
And so now every time, like if I'm on the floor after putting my running shoes on or something like that, I will not use my hands to push up. I use my legs, and I put my hands out, and I go like this because I'm like, I can't lose that.
Yeah.
But you take that for granted.
But somebody made you think about that.
Yes.
And most people are just, it's not part of our normal life.
We don't realize till 20 years later, we're like, oh, we can't do that anymore.
My mom was a great example of that, because she was in the tub one day and she was pushing off the sides of the tub to get up, and she realized, I cannot get up without my hands or using something, handle or something.
Sure.
And that scared her. And it was a reality check for her. Yep. And it was her mission to be able to get from the floor to standing up with no hands. And and she's done it.
Maybe that's her challenge at the end of the show. I would love that. Well, okay. Along with that, strength training. That's number 2. Talk to us about strength training, because that's kind of what mom's doing right now.
Yeah, I think we're having an obesity epidemic, because there's 3/4 of America is overweight, and it's just shocking. And I think it's like, I want to say, oh gosh, is it 40% or something like that are I'm trying to remember what the number was that is that's obese.
Oh my goodness.
But 40% are obese. And so when you've got an obesity issue that right in your face every day, and diet food and the diet topic, I think the majority of Americans run to cardio and that kind of stuff first, and kind of neglect the importance of strength training, when strength training does strengthen your bones and do a lot of other things, increase your metabolism, and even just like we just talked about, getting off the floor, you have to have strength for that. And we have to be very purposeful with strengthening our muscles as a whole, because a lot of, we might be strong in one area naturally, just with our workload or whatever we do, and then have weak muscles. And then our skeleton and everything else is out of whack, because we've got these muscles pulling or weak on one side. So purposely strengthen our body completely is just really beneficial for our quality of life. in addition to weight loss too, but people tend to put on the running shoes and go for a walk or do something else first.
Sure. So we're going to do strength training, but 3 is cardio. So talk to us about that part. You really shouldn't do one without the other. Is that right?
No, that's exactly right.
Okay.
And cardio originally, named cardio for heart and lung health, but now when you think of cardio, if you're like, hey, we're going to do some cardio, you're not thinking, I'm going to exercise my heart and lungs,
That's
pump
true.
that blood. No, you're like,
true.
I want to burn some fat. So true. We do a lot of HIIT style training, a lot of interval style training. So, when people are doing, and even on your runs, I would really encourage you to do sprints and walks and do a variety of different things to get your heart rate up and we're so comfortable these days that we don't like being uncomfortable. I don't like being uncomfortable. And but we really need to exercise our heart and lungs and get it to capacity and really work it hard. But it doesn't have to be hardcore the whole entire time. Do a sprint for a minute and then go back to a power walk and then go to a jog and then do a sprint for a minute, maybe rotate. Sometimes I'll just look at a mailbox and do every 2 mailboxes I do this, or depending on how many acres or whatever you live on. Being a little bit more purposeful with your quote unquote cardio. Yeah, I want to burn fat and calories and stuff like that too. But I also want to make sure that my heart and lungs are very strong because they've had a really huge connection between VO2 max and the ability to really pump that blood with centurions and people who have lived 100 plus. That, and also one of the things, ironically, is people that were able to squat, squatting all the way down and, just kind of almost like butt to ground, gardening and stuff like that. Yeah. That culture.
And eating on not eating from the floor, but seating on the floor.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff has been related to longevity.
Yeah, I know. I've watched the whole Blue Zone. Love that. If you've not seen that, it's amazing.
I've been reading Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, and it talks about, and he studies that and does a whole trained to be a centurion. Basically, longevity, which it's a great book.
Well, if you have a chance, Netflix has a series. It's called Blue Zone, and it follows all of these areas in the world that have people living over 100.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Amazing. Okay, so I do know this about centurions, and number 4 for you is avoid processed food and sugar. This is huge.
Yeah. I think, a lot of people, when we say that, they just immediately shut you down and shut the idea down. I mean, people do it all the time when they're asking me for diet tips, and you say something and you can just see their eyes glaze over. Like, I was really hoping for something easier. But when I'm talking about sugar and processed foods, I'm talking about from an inflammation standpoint, because there's a lot of people that are in pain. They can't even really wrap their mind around going to the gym, working out, because they hurt just sitting. So how am I supposed to convince them to get into the gym and hurt more?
Sure.
So, but one of the things we see when we have our challenges and people coming in and we strip the sugar and processed food away is they're experiencing pain-free lifestyle that they have not experienced, and they equate it to pretty much everything in fitness and stuff like that. But a lot of times it's just from getting the processed food and sugars out, because processed foods, even if it's bread or crackers or those kind of things, they turn to sugar very quickly in our system. So really our body looks at all of that as sugar. And when we have a sugar, too much of sugar, we do have inflamed joints and aches and pains that we don't necessarily need to battle with. So if we can take that away,
avoidable situation.
Yeah. Then I have less pain, and then now I feel like I can actually tackle maybe some of these things and not be miserable.
Yeah. We have 30 seconds before commercial break. Final number 5, fight laziness.
Yeah. I know that's a bad topic, but the truth of the matter is especially after COVID, where we can work from home and do stuff from home, it's like, I think more and more we are taking the shortcut way of life, even to the point of not even socializing with our own friends. And I'm like queen bee, head of that type of that thought. And it's really hard when you're when something's emotion stays emotion. Well, we sit so much and we stay at home so much. It's very difficult to break that cycle, but we just have to make that decision to be very purposeful about moving.
Yes, absolutely. We got to be purposeful about breaks. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, you! Host your very own show every week at Evergreen Media Network in Vero Beach. Go live to YouTube and Facebook with up to 4 people and your very own producer. Be heard on more than 15 podcast podcast platforms and local radio. All you have to do is show up and talk. Your guests can join from anywhere in the world. It's easy to get started with the largest podcast studio on the Treasure Coast. Contact Evergreen Media to tour the studio.
Blue Dolphin Pools strives to provide quality service with a well-trained staff in the field and in the office. They want you to know that your pool or spa investment means much more to them than just another account. They believe you have entrusted them with your investment, and they'll do their best to see that it stays in top condition. Blue Dolphin Pool has been in business over 35 years, setting them apart from the competition. Residential or commercial, Blue Dolphin will keep you in the swim. 567-5853.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats and chairs in all the latest styles and colors from Tommy Bahama, Lexington, Hooker, Riverside, Universal, Four Seasons, Braxton Color, and Capri. We're the outdoor furniture experts and have hundreds of styles of any patio furniture you need, including a gallery of Berlin Gardens and Bollywood. We specialize in fire pits, outdoor rugs, umbrellas, and replacement cushions. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in the Publix Plaza, Vero Beach. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet store directly across the street, filled with lots of name brand closeouts and sale items. Visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty and the Beach Radio. I'm Cindy Goetz, your host. 5 ways to be fit and it over 40. We want to thank Dale Sorensen Real Estate for being our number one sponsor, our exclusive sponsor of the show. They've been family owned since 1978. You can find them at 772-231-4712. You can also find them at SorensenRealEstate.com. Dale Sorensen Real Estate, we appreciate you so much. Whether you're buying or selling a home, they can take care of you. We also want to thank Varietals and More on Royal Palm Point. They always make sure our guests have lovely beverages. So Rob and Michelle, go see them on Royal Palm Point at Varietals. They have all kinds of wonderful goodies in their store. And if you mention Beauty and the Beach Radio, you do get a 10% discount. All right. Thank you so much. We are back with Bonnie Pfiester. She and her husband, Steve, are co-owners of LIFT Fitness right here in Vero. Bonnie, after everything we've talked about, being fit and it over 40, somebody's sitting there. First of all, how quickly if someone's sitting on the couch right now and they've got a high school reunion this year, or their kids getting married, or there's something that they really want to have change happen in their life, but they're feeling a little hopeless right now because nothing's ever worked. Yeah. How fast have you seen a turnaround? What's that range like to become a new person?
The good news is, this is why we do our 6-week challenges. I'm not a big, cheerleader for doing extreme long-term plans, but sometimes you just need that boost. Sure. And pretty much anybody can do anything for 6 weeks.
Sure.
And we see a massive difference in just the way that people walk in the door and just the confidence level and how much they've changed just in 6 short weeks. Wow. Not only can somebody lose 25 plus pounds in that amount of time, believe it or not, I know it's shocking, but they, one of the things you can just know is that you don't have to lose a whole bunch of weight to be fit.
Sure.
You can make radical changes and feel fit, feel energetic, and feel strong and feel hopeful in a matter of just a few weeks. The key is being all in. If you dabble in it, you're going to dabble in the results. You just get a little bit of results for a little bit of effort. But if you really just go, hey, I encourage you to commit to a short period of time of all in so you can get all the reward really quickly, and that'll motivate you to continue the next step.
I love that. Bonnie, if somebody is listening and they're like, okay, I want to possibly, give this a try. I like what I'm hearing. If they want to come to LIFT, if they want to do a tour, if they want to hear what you've got, what do you suggest?
We're a private facility, so we're a locked facility, meaning you do need to get in touch with us first. But we have a free 7-day VIP experience where we treat you like our VIP member and client. So you get to attend our coach-led workout program and that kind of stuff and get in bodies and really just kind of experience what it would be like to be in our community without having to make any long-term commitments. And the neat thing is that we do have short-term stuff. We've got 6-week plans, 12-week plans, and that kind of thing. So they've got a lot of options, but we believe in try before you buy. Meet us. So we want to make sure that we are gelling and you feel 100% comfortable, because if you don't feel comfortable, you're not going to come.
I love it. I love it. 5 ways to be fit and it over 40 with Bonnie Pfiester. You guys, we want you it. We love you, and make it a great 2025. We'll see you later.